I'll always know what you did last summer. This film was hard to watch. Alright, I'll start off with some positives. Cinematography, there was a couple cool shots. Like there was one, we see someone's reflection in a puddle, the sheriff, and then he walks in and steps in the puddle. That was kind of cool. There was a shot where we can see the main girl in the reflection as well as in real life. The effects were really cool. Some of the gore was really nice, and the way the kills were was really nice. The acting at very specific moments there was decent um acting. The set pieces were cool. Set pieces were kind of cool. At least decent. Nothing to write home about. On to everything else. I mean, it was kind of funny how stupid it was at a few moments. The acting for most of the movie was really rough, and I don't want to blame the actors, although there might be a little bit of that. It's clear that the direction on this film is confusing. The editing on this film, the only thing it reminds me of is Halloween 6. Like super intense, choppy, confusing, loud sound effects as they cut around. Just is weird. It's intense. It's aggressive. Like it's gross. I don't know how else to describe it. The lighting on this movie, oh my word. Oh my word. It like a lot of scenes were super whitewashed, a lot of scenes you couldn't tell what was happening at all. A lot of scenes there was just it was the most basic lighting in the world, or there was none at all. A lot of the time I couldn't even tell. And like in the dark scenes, you can't tell what's happening, and the camera's choppy. It's like during like chase sequences, and the camera's just super shaky and it's flashing all around, and the editing is super like choppy and intense, and it's like, what is happening? What is going on? And it didn't even fuel the story. It had no point to be that confusing. It Those were the moments that we wanted to see what was happening. There was a The chase sequences didn't do like anything for me. There wasn't much to work with. There was a couple funny moments with like the sheriff coming out, and I can't remember what he said. Like, "Oh, where is he, or what's there to be afraid of?" And then he just gets hooked and dragged away. That was kind of fun. Oh, what? It's nothing's gonna happen in the next 2 minutes, and then the fisherman pops up out of nowhere. That was a little fun. But in general, man, this script wasn't much there. There wasn't much there. A lot of people obsessing over this Amber chick, and yeah, that was a lot of the script. We there was a couple things different from the original. There was two additional love interests for the main girl. It was their friend that died. Now it's not a human, it's a zombie. A couple other people actually know what happened last summer, which was kind of fun. We're in Colorado. There's no water. Why does Ben Willis care? Is it because they used the legend? There's an interesting episode of Supernatural. I think it was called Hell House, where it's like if enough people believe in this urban legend, it becomes real. It's kind of the only way I can justify this making any sense, but it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, the thing that was most difficult to deal with was the acting, and along with that, the direction. Like, this production is so sloppy, it's unbelievable. The lighting was brutal. The script, the the editing, the way like the way the set pieces were used was not good, and like a lot of the camera shots were not well done. And I don't know how much of this was DP's decision or director's decision, but a lot of these decisions were disorienting and didn't further the plot at all. And then you have the lighting to add to it. The camera work was brutal, and in certain very specific moments the sound design was decent. Every once in a while, it had its moments. But in general, even the sound design was confusing. There was a couple interesting actors. The sheriff did an interesting job. The deputy, the like black-haired friend, they had some interesting moments. Again, all these actors had maybe one moment where it was decent and landed. Also, the one dude apparently like offed himself, and he had like a slash all the way across his neck. I ne- I never understood that. I never understood people being like, "Is that something people do?" Straight what? With a hook? What? Uh, this movie is just. I see why it gets the response it does. The effects were pretty cool. That's the main thing that actually worked in the film. The sheriff, pretty solid. Deputy has his moments, but again, a lot of these characters are just not written well. The script is not well done. The direction is not cohesive. It it's just a mess. The movie's just a complete and utter mess with a bad script on top of it, and a poor director, which adds to the mess, and an edit that just makes it even more confusing, along with the cinematography and lighting. There might be very specific moments in the film, but in general, this film is so confusing. There is not that much cohesion in it. It feels so disjointed and like things don't add up. And on top of that, like I said, this script is I don't understand. The script is so rough. And yeah, that's about it. That's about it. If you want to watch it and be frustrated, this is a movie that will frustrate you and make you grit your I had such a hard time watching this film, getting through it, but I wanted to do it so that we could talk about it and finish the series, finish the film series. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the TV show. But I'm having trouble grading this movie because I don't want to go super low. I don't want to go super low, but honestly, I feel like a 53% is the highest I can give it, and I don't even want to do that. I want to, like, if I'm being more realistic, it's like a 26%. And that's just because it was a movie that was made that people put their effort into. Like, when people think of slasher movies that, like, think of them as garbage, this is the kind of films they think of. And even this is lowbrow for the type of films that they think of. Like, significantly lowbrow. Yeah, this film's embarrassing. I mean, the more I think about it, the lower it goes. 5.3 on the extremely generous. This film was made and people worked on it, and some of them did some good work scale. 36% on the it exists in this universe and it's kind of it could be. I'm going to have to bring it down to a 13% if I'm keeping it real. The only reason why this movie gets some credit is the effects Um, very specific shots. It was a film that was made. Certain moments with the actors. Thought the actor who played the fisherman did a decent job. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to go down here, but like the bad stuff about it just keeps pushing it lower. The highest I can go is a 1.7 if I'm keeping it completely realistic to myself, and that's an abomination. I've never scored a film that low in my entire life. Getting below a 75% is hard. Getting below a 50% is impressive. Getting below a 25%, it's like, how? A 1.3? A 1.7? What happened? What happened? Why did they even release this? I would be ashamed to even release this. I would just take the loss. To be quite honest with you, I would not want my name on this film. If I was an actor in this film, or I did some of the effects, cool. I'd be cool with it. Acting in a terrible horror movie is something I might actually enjoy. But if I directed this movie, if I wrote it, if I produced it, why would I want my name attached to this? So 1.3 is if I'm pushing it down, 1.7 if I'm trying to raise it up. So we'll meet in the middle at a 1.5. How on planet Earth, on my extremely generous scale, did we get to a 1.5? A 1.5. Only watch this movie if you want to see what not to do and try to find crumbs of positivity in a sea of pain and why, how, how. I'll always know what you did last summer. I'm glad to put this one to bed. Thank you so much for watching. I'm embarrassed to even be talking about this movie. Well, not really. It's a little fun to trash on, but the fact that I watched it, I it makes me embarrassed to be a horror fan, a slasher fan. Like, this is the kind of film where it's like, yeah, I understand why we get trashed on so much. Oh my gosh. I need to stop, put this movie away. Thank you all so much for stopping by. 1.5 cinematography, one interesting thing, brutally rough direction, lighting, what, who, how, acting, couple moments. Other than that, what? Sound design, I don't get it. The effects, cool. The locations, why? Just why? Have a good day, everybody.